Let's bring in one of, I guess, the best-known Haley supporters during the primary campaign. The governor of New Hampshire is with us, now endorsed Donald Trump, Governor Sununu. Is that an okay introduction, one of the best-known Haley supporters? You're still okay with that?
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'm proud to have it.
Now, Kelly went through some of these numbers. It's interesting because I think last time you were on, you and I talked a little bit about this. But if you're talking about, 4 million people, 4.3 million voters that have voted for Nikki Haley, how do they break down, do you think, in November? How many of those go to Donald Trump?
The vast majority are going to come to Trump. There's no question about it. And again, a lot of these voters go into the ballot box in the voting booth during the primary. There's a vote of conscience there. They have an option within the Republican Party, and even though Nikki obviously isn't going to be the nominee, it's a vote of conscience. They're going to do it. But that same vote of conscience is going to drive them to say, well, things were better off 4 years ago. The Biden policies are an absolute disaster. If you told me 6-7 months ago that Biden was going to be losing this race, I'd say you're crazy. But that's the reality right now. There's no question about it. Inflation is real. It's the worst tax on the poor you can have. The southern border crisis is real. You can't ignore this stuff. Just this wokeism, this culture that folks want change. So not only are the Haley voters going to go, you're going to see a lot of these kind of more conservative Democrats, these union Democrats, these hardworking families that are just really ticked off that you have liberal elites trying to stand on the shoulders of the country that those families built, trying to tell them how to live their lives. People don't like that kind of thing. And I'm from the live free or die state, right? We don't like anyone telling us how to live our lives. But what you're seeing is a real reverberation across the country of just how bad the Biden presidency has become.
Now, if we look back at those swing state numbers that we put up from Bloomberg at the top of the show, it is interesting because you're right. The advantage is probably still with Trump. He leads in 5 of the 7, as I pointed out right off the top. But it's tightened up, and you know the math as well as anyone. Biden, with just Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, could still get to 270, and those are all close, within 2. He's up in Michigan technically within the margin. So it is close. I mean, what odds today would you give Trump to win? It's not 90-10, right? It's maybe a 55-45 type of thing.
No, look,
in terms of the odds.
Yeah, it's basically. Yeah, 55-45, something like that. But, a couple real pivotal moments, right? You're going to have the conventions. Those will be interesting. I don't think they'll move voters a whole lot, but they'll definitely be interesting. We'll see if there's riots and protests and all that and how out of control they might be. That'll be a lot of those stories. These debates will be fascinating. I mean, you'll have, while there's only 2, the fact that one of them is in June could really move some numbers early. And they could go either way. If Biden comes out and looks energized and looks like he can handle it, the expectation is that Trump is going to crush him. If it doesn't come out and happen that way, Biden's numbers could surge forward. Also, if Biden just proves to everyone that he is as off his mark as he's told to be, things could go very, very south for him. And then obviously there's the trials. I don't think the trials move numbers against Trump. But if he's found not guilty in this early trial, if there is a hung jury, then basically there's going to be a benefit of the doubt, a political doubt put over all the other trials that come after that.
You don't think it goes the other way, though, if he's found guilty and he's a convicted felon? I mean, some of the numbers have shown that I don't know if I agree or disagree with you. You might be right, but I'm just saying some of the numbers have shown that he loses a few points. But you're saying you don't buy that.
He could lose a few points here and there, but I don't think people are waiting to see, gee, I'm going to vote for Trump or not vote for Trump based on these trials, right? Because they're all different. They're kind of all mashed together. They're all going to come at different times. We all know the former president, right? He's effectively the incumbent Republican versus the incumbent Democrat. So people have really made up their minds on the validity of these trials, whether they buy into them or not already. And, one thing I say a lot, and I mean it quite sincerely, no one is staying awake going, what's going to happen in the trials? Oh my gosh, where is this going to go? You know what keeps them awake? Inflation, paying their rent, buying groceries, feeding their family. Right. That literally keeps people awake and stressed at night. And it's that feeling, that anxiety that's going to drive people to say, we want to go back to the way it was and likely very strongly help Trump win this thing in November.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.